Erev Tov and Bruchim Habayim to Bnei Akiva's annual community-wide Tekes Ma'avar for Yom Hazikaron and Yom Haatzmaut. My name is Eitan Tarragon, and together with my wife Ayala and daughter Kama, we are honored to serve as the Bnei Akiva Shlichim in Los Angeles. We came here to connect, be part of an amazing nation called the Jewish people, and part of the Los Angeles community. We also hope to bring with us a small taste of Eretz Yisrael, the feeling of connection, dedication, self-sacrifice, and life of Torah that we feel so strongly on this day. On this day, time seems to slow down. We pause for a moment from the race of daily life, work, sports, school, and responsibilities, and simply connect. We connect to role models who gave their lives for something greater than themselves. We pause and connect to our people, to our land, to our state, and maybe in a deeper way, to ourselves. Tonight we stand together with heavy hearts as we remember our soldiers and civilians, heroes, friends, who gave their lives so that Israel could live in its land and so that the Jewish people could rebuild after 2,000 years. Each of them was a whole world, with families, dreams, and hopes for the future. Their loss is felt not only in Israel, but by the entire Jewish people. And yet, at this moment, we do not want to focus only on the pain, even though there is so much pain and sadness. We want to recognize the strength of the Jewish people, to keep building and growing, not focusing on the lives that were taken, but the life we strive to live. This evening will mostly be led by our youth, wonderful young people who we hope will take responsibility, first in their community and from there for the Jewish people as a whole. In today's world, it's not always easy to stop and ask, what does the world need from me? How can I make the world a better place? How can I improve the world around me? To commit to Am Yisrael, to being a Jew. As my dear friend Amichai Weitzen, Zichrono Livracha, always used to say when someone asked for help, of course, that's what I came into this world for. And in Bnei Akiva, we believe in raising young people who live by these questions. Young people who keep asking, what do the Jewish people need from me? We want to build young people who feel connected to Am Yisrael, Eretz Yisrael, and Torah Yisrael. We are a strong and special nation, like a lion that rises. Sometimes it takes time for a lion to rise. But once he rises, no one can stop it. With courage and determination, we will keep moving forward, continue to build and to grow. I'll finish with the last words of my friend Amichai Zichrono Livracha, quoted from Shmuel, Netzach Yisrael lo yishaker velo yinachem, ki lo adam hu leinachem.
We now ask everyone to please rise for the singing of the U.S. National Anthem, followed by a tikva, which will be sung by the Harkam Hillel Hebrew Academy Choir, led by Catherine Simon, and remain standing until the completion of all of the Tefilat. Please remain standing as we recite a parak of Tehillim, the prayers for the welfare of the state of Israel and for the United States Armed Forces, who are standing side by side with us. We will recite the prayer for the soldiers of the IDF later in this program, as we honor those fighting for Medinat Israel.
שיר למעלות, תשא עיני להרים, מאין יבוא עזרי. עזרי מעם אדוני, עושה שמיים וארץ. אל יתן אמות רגליך, אל ינום שומרך. הנה לא ינום ולא יישן, שומר ישראל. אדוני שומרך, אדוני צילך על יד ימינך. יומם השמש לא יקקה וירח בלילה. אדוני ישמורך מכל רע, ישמור את נפשך. אדוני ישמור צאתך ובואך מעתה ועד עולם.
Avinu Shabashamayim, Sur Yisrael v'Gola, Berech et Medinat Yisrael, Rashit Tzmicha Gulatenu, Hagen alea b'vat chastecha, Ufros alea sukkah shomecha, Shlach orcha v'amidcha l'rashea, Sarea v'yotea, Tepnei b'yitzat tova mifanecha, Hazeki yedei mignei eretz Godshenu anchilem Eloheinu, Yeshua v'ater nitzchon teatrem, Be'natat shalom ba'aretz imchad olav v'yoshvea. ואת אחינו כל בית ישראל, פקוד נא בכל ארצות פזוריהם, תוליכם מהרה קומי לציון יראך לישיים משכן שמך. ככתוב בתורה משה עבדך, אם יהיה נדחך בצי השמיים, משם יקבצך אדוני אלוהיך, ומשם יקחך. והביאך אדוני אלוהיך אל הארץ אשר ירשו אבותיך וישתה. וטיבך וריבך באבותיך. ויחד להבינו להבא לרע את שמך, לשמור את כל דברי תורתך, ושלח לנו מהרה בין דוד משך צדקך. יפדות מאחר קץ ישועתך, והופע באדר וגנוזך על כל יושבי תבל ארצך, ויאמר כל אשר נשמה פפו, אדוני אלוהי ישראל מלך ומלכותו, בכל משלה, אמן סלע.
Prayer for the U.S. Armed Forces. Tefilat lechayalot Artzot Habrit, Adir b'marom shochein b'gvura, Melech she'ashalom shelo, Hashkifa b'mon kodshecha, uvarech et chayalei tzeva Artzot Habrit. Amitzei koach hamecharfim nafsham lahaganat shalom kol beriotecha. Anarachum hayei na lahem machakeh umiskav ve'al titen lamot ragla. Yehi shalom bechelam nitzachon bigdehem. Maleli bam ometz ve'emunah lesakel atzat oyevim ul hashbit kol memshelet zidonim. Hagin alehem bayabasha ba'avir uvayam ve'et karnei oyevehem tegadea beshalom tolichem ushalom tatzidem ulcheik mishpechotehem chayim ushlemim bimhera teshivim kachatu v'adonai yishmorcha mikol ra yishmor ad nafshecha adonai yishmor tzeitecha uvovecha me'ata ve'ad olam hanchilenu shalom emet lekayim mash ne'amar lo yisa goy el goy charav v'lo yilmedu od milchama למען ידעו כל יושבי תבל, כי לך אדוני מלוכה, יעתה ושמך, נורא על כל מה שראית, וכן יהי רצון ונאמר אמן. You could be seated.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Board of Directors of Bnei Akiva Los Angeles, thank you for all joining us tonight at the Tekes Ma'avar. Of course, our hearts and prayers are with all of Israel during these challenging and uncertain times. I'd like to begin by thanking our community partners, volunteers, and vendors for all the time in making this evening so special. To our event committee, Natalie Gerber, Shuli Steinloff, Rachel Heft, Rachel Brunel, and Eliza Tosick, along with our program director, Sharon Elkis, and the many volunteers who stepped up. Thank you for your incredible effort and dedication. And of course, a special thank you to YULA for hosting this incredible event. In just a few moments, we will start to hear some of the stories that make up the relationship of Yom Hazikaron and Yom Haatzmaut. Tonight, we will recognize several remarkable individuals and honor their unique contributions and dedication to the State of Israel. I want to take a moment to take you back to May of 2025. I was listening to a podcast by Dan Senior. His program is called Call Me Back. He's the co-author of Startup Nation, another book, The Genius of Israel. And he posed the following important question. He said, how do we, a community in America, prepare our children so that they have a strong identity with their Judaism and with the State of Israel? That was the question posed by Dan Senior. And he answered it with two pillars. He says there are two critical pillars that exist. One, Jewish day school, and the other, Jewish camp. When it comes to Jewish day school, the impact is clear. Studies have shown that day school alumni are more than twice as likely to feel deeply connected to their Judaism and 4 times as likely to feel a strong connection to the State of Israel. Here in Los Angeles, we are blessed to have many outstanding schools that instill these values in our children every single day. However, research also shows that informal educational environments, such as after-school programs, youth groups, and especially camp, can have even a more profound impact in shaping a child's identity. This is where Bnei Akiva plays a vital role. Under the leadership of Eitan Tarragon and his wife YULA, Bnei Akiva has significantly expanded their year-round programming, inspiring the children of our community to take pride in their Judaism and deepen their connection to Israel. Our programming begins as early as 3rd grade and goes through high school, as you've seen in part tonight. It includes weekly after-school programming, bi-monthly Shabbat afternoon programming, known as SNIF, and a wide range of holiday-based events. But what makes these programs especially meaningful is that they are led by our youth. They're led by our high school students who are empowered to take on leadership roles and grow into the future leaders of local communities and of Israel. Beyond year-round programming, Bnei Akiva also operates the David Oved Retreat Center in the San Bernardino Mountains. Throughout the year, it hosts retreats, Shabbatonim, for schools, synagogues, and community organizations. This past year alone, over 40 Jewish institutions and non-Jewish institutions participated, with over 2,000 people taking advantage of the retreat center. And then finally, Senior talks about Jewish camp. Jewish camps are among the most immersive educational environments we have. In one survey, 92% of parents said that camp directly strengthened their child's Jewish identity. 92%. That brings me to Bnei Akiva's summer camp, Camp Moshava Alvi, also known as your camp. Moshava Alvi is located less than 2 hours from here, the San Bernardino Mountains. For fact-checking, it is the only modern Orthodox sleepaway camp west of the Mississippi. But what truly sets it apart is not just its activities, it's the environment it creates. Moshava Alvi is an educational incubator by these environmental conditions that exist there. It proudly runs a program for campers and adults with special needs, fostering a community for inclusion, empathy, and growth. The impact of this program is felt not only by the participants, but the entire camp community. How better can your children learn empathy? At the core, the camp's experience is rooted in Torah and Israel. Each day includes Torah learning, singing, dancing, centered around a love of Torah and the State of Israel. There's one building that never closes. And that building is the Beit Midrash. So that any camper, any staff member, even late at night, can go and learn. It is always open. This past summer, Mosheva Alvi welcomed 35 campers from Israel. Each of these campers was from a family directly impacted by the October 7 war, including, tragically, multiple orphans. At this point in time, you would think, wow, do I want my kid experiencing that? And the answer should be yes. Because I can tell you that the experience was the following. Their presence brought a powerful sense of connection. And this is the word that I love the most. And this is the word that defines the Jewish people: resilience and a shared responsibility permeated the camp. Bnei Akiva has been a cornerstone of the Los Angeles Jewish community for decades, and you'll hear from some of those people tonight, and it will continue to shape and inspire future generations. I want to thank you for being part of this mission, and we hope you enjoy this evening. Thank you.
Tonight, we gather as a community united by something larger than ourselves. We gather as part of Am Yisrael, connected to Medina Yisrael. And we gather at the meeting point of two sacred days: Yom Hazikaron, a day of remembrance, and Yom Haatzmaut, a day of independence. One day rooted in loss, one day rooted in hope. And the truth is, they're inseparable. Because Jewish independence was not given. It was defended, it was protected, it was built at great cost. Tonight we begin with memory. Because without memory, celebration is shallow. And without remembrance, independence has no foundation.
Tonight is not about history in the abstract. It's about people, names that were once called across a room, voices that were answered. Each life was a whole world: family, friendships, plans that did not get the chance to unfold. We are here not only to remember how they died, but to recognize how they lived and what their lives ask of us now. This day asks us to stop and to give our full attention to what has been lost. People who were here, who mattered deeply to those around them, and whose absence is still felt.
In Israel, on Yom Hazikaron, all flags across the country are lowered at nightfall on the 4th of Iyar. And on the following morning, something remarkable happens when the sirens sound. A nation stands still. Highways fall silent. Markets pause. Schools are quiet. This year, after so many weeks of sirens telling everyone to head for cover from incoming missiles, the sounds of the sirens for these special days are all the more jarring. But still, for 2 minutes, an entire country chooses remembrance over emotion. It is a sound that pierces routine, a sound that calls people back to something essential. It reminds Israelis and Jews around the world that the state of Israel was not built in abstraction. It was built by sons and daughters, by mothers and fathers, by young people who had dreams. 2 sirens play during those 24 hours. One at night to open the day of remembrance, and one the following morning when the country comes to a complete standstill.
Over the past 2 years, we have certainly had ups and downs. We have cheered as Israel's brave forces overcame evil and have cried over the losses of our precious chayalim and chayalot. We have davened and celebrated the final hostages to be returned. So as we begin our Yom Hazikaron ceremony, memorializing and mourning those we have lost, we remember them as heroes of our nation who gave their lives so that we can rebuild and renew with our heads held high. Tonight, even across an ocean, we stand in that same spirit. Because Jewish memory does not depend on proximity. It depends on belonging. And we belong to this story. Let us stand together in silence in respect for the fallen soldiers and victims of terror as we lower the flag and sound the sirens in commemoration of these lost lives and recite Yizkor and Kel Malei Rachamim. Please rise.
Please remain standing as we recite the Yizkor and 10-minute prayers and light the Yartzeit candles in memory of fallen soldiers and for the victims of terror. יזכור עם ישראל את בניו ובנותיו הנאמנים והאמיצים, חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל, וכל לחמי המחתרות וחטיבות הלוחמים במערכות העם, ואנשי קהילות המודיעין, הביטחון, המשטרה ושירות בתי הסוהר, אשר חרפו נפשם במלחמה על תקומת ישראל, וכל מי שנרצחו בארץ ומחוצה לה בידי מרצחים מארגוני הטרור. יזכור ישראל ויתברך בזרעו ואהבה על זיו העלומים, וחמדת הגבורה וקדושת הרצון ומסירות הנפש של הנספים במערכה הכבדה. יהיו חללי מערכות ישראל, עטורי הניצחון חתומים בלב ישראל לדור ודור.
מלא רחמים שוכן במרומים, המסה מנוחה נכונה כתפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים תורים וגיבורים כזוהר הרקיע מאסירים, ונשמות הקדושים שנלחמו בכל מערכות ישראל, במחתרת ובצבא הגנה ישראל, ושנפלו במלחמתם ומסרו נפשם על קדושת השם, העם והארץ בעבור שאנו מפעלים לעילוי נשמותיהם. לכן בעל הרחמים יסתירם בסדר כנפיו לעולמים, ויסור בזוהר החיים את נשמותיהם, אדוני ונחלתם, בגן עדן תהיה מנוחתם, וינוחו בשלום על משכבותם, ותעמוד לכל ישראל לזכותם, ועמדו לגורלם מקץ הימין, ונאמר אמן. Please be seated.
Tonight, we will share 3 personal stories. Just a few among the many who lost their lives al Kiddush Hashem for Medinat Yisrael. There have been more than 24,000 fallen Israeli soldiers, thousands of victims of terror, each one a world, of relationships, of laughter, and potential. We cannot speak all their names tonight, but we will speak three. Three lives that reflect different paths, yet one shared destiny. Three stories that carry the weight of sacrifice. Three stories that carry the power to inspire.
My cousin, Maoz Morel, he was 21 years old from the Yishuv Talmon. He was born on the day of his aunt's sudden and tragic passing, and his parents, Eitan and Varda, my aunt and uncle, named him Maoz, stronghold, representative of the strength that they hoped he would give their family in that difficult time. He was a determined, hard-working, and athletic boy, and he really excelled at sports. But at the same time, Maoz had a very difficult time in school. Especially difficult because he spent most of his life in school. It was hard for him to study, and he really needed a lot of time to understand the material. But even at that early age, he was showing signs of being a lochem, a fighter. And he persevered. He worked extremely hard, and to his parents' shock, he even finished Mishnayos in 12th grade. He grew into a true lochem. After 4 years of lechima in yeshiva in Tichonit in Dimona, Maoz felt he wanted to go to the Hesder yeshiva. This was a very unusual decision, because he knew he wasn't going to be able to make it through the entire Hesder program. He felt like he wanted to do, and that was more appropriate for him to do 3 years of service. And most boys in his group who were going to go down that route were actually going to go to something called the Mechina Kedam Tzva'it, which was less rigorous in terms of the yeshiva setting than was the Hesder yeshiva that he went to. But Maoz felt that the best thing for his spiritual growth was to go to the yeshivat Hesder in yeshivat in Yishuv Tapuach then, and moved. And that's what he did. When he went for his interview, actually, the Rebbe shared this at his funeral. The Rebbe told him, "I'm sorry, but this is not going to be for you. You're not going to be able to handle this. You're not up to par." And Maoz looked at him and he said, he's going to do what it takes. He said, "Ani po." And again, he was willing to be lochem. Again and again, he would go over the Gemara. He would say, "Lo hevanti, od pam, lo hevanti." And it took a lot of time and a lot of patience on behalf of his chavrusas. But even more on his part, that he had to ask again and again to get it. And he would keep fighting, and he'd be lochem. One of his friends shared that they stayed up the whole night finishing some material, some masechet. And after they worked on it the whole night, the friend, he was so excited that they finished the material. And he said to Maoz, "No, we finished everything." And Maoz looked at him after a full night of working, and he said, "Lo hevanti milah." But the same thing was that if he messed up and he came late to the yeshiva seder, he wouldn't be satisfied. Machar lomdim, because the lochem gets right back up. Maoz kama nilchamta ala kedusha, his Rebbe said. Maoz made such an effort to make sure he only saw things he was supposed to see. He was made fun of for being the only guy his age in his circles with his old dumb flip phone. And it was very weird, but at the same time he felt that was the right thing to do. And a lochem bucks the trend. When Maoz drafted, they knew that this would happen, and he went to an elite unit called Sayeret Sanchanim, a very high-level lochmim. And he was actually elected to carry the mag, which is this huge gun. It's meant to give cover fire. And he was the one who was chosen to carry that mag. The reason is because anybody else, even if they had a turn with the mag, they would complain so much that they would move it on to the next guy. The only person who held it, and he was smaller than the rest of them, for the whole time, and didn't complain at all, was Maoz. And they even used to call him Magos, because of the name of the gun. A real lochem doesn't complain. He just gets the job done. He excelled in the army, and his trademark hard work and perseverance paid off, and he was unbelievable on the battlefield. In his final moments in battle, he was rushing to bandage and stop the bleeding of his fellow soldiers, including a commander that he saved his life. He was not a medic, but at the same time, he did what had to be done because a lochem needs to know what to do when there are no medics there. When he finished bandaging, he immediately returned to the battlefield, giving cover fire for the rest of his unit with that mag, and until his last moments when he was injured by a piece of rubble. Maoz never stopped persevering. He was a real lochem. He took the yeshiva with him to Gaza, making sure to study Mesilas Yesharim, which was a sefer that he always had by his side in the army. I even remember members of his unit who were not religious. They remembered Maoz, who haya Rav shel HaChevra. He would sit in the corner with his Mesilas Yesharim, and even people commemorated him by learning the sefer over a certain amount of time in his memory. He would always be in touch with his rebbeim with all kind of questions, because the lochem never forgets what he's fighting for. His legacy lives on as a true Gibor Yisrael and an Eved Hashem, who died protecting Am Yisrael while working as hard as he possibly could. We can all look to him as an inspiration to keep working harder in our avodas Hashem and to never settle for less. We can only hope to try and be Mekadesh Shem Shamayim like him and be a lochem.
Tila Gez was a 30-year-old therapist and mother of 3, known for her courage, her compassion, and her work helping others navigate trauma and life's challenges. Tila was on her way to the hospital to give birth to her 4th child when terrorists opened fire on vehicles across the road, and in that sudden brutal attack, Tila was struck and critically wounded. Her husband was also injured, trying to protect her. Paramedics rushed her to the hospital, where doctors performed an emergency C-section, delivering their son in a desperate effort to save him. Despite their determination, Tila succumbed to her wounds the next morning. And for 2 weeks, her newborn fought for life in the hospital, but he too ultimately passed away, leaving a family and community shattered by loss. Tila's life was devoted to healing others, and in the moments of terror that ended her life, the promise of new life also slipped away. Poignantly, on this same night last year, Tila posted this message on social media asking us all, despite the pain, to choose life.
עושים את המעבר המטורף הזה בין יום הזיכרון ליום העצמאות. אני חושבת שהשנה זה אפילו הרבה יותר קשה. יום הזיכרון הזה נגע בכולנו, כולנו נגועים בדבר. איך בכל זאת עושים את המעבר המטורף הזה? אני חושבת שאולי זה בדיוק מה שמצווים אותנו, הנופלים, להמשיך בחיים. ואני חושבת על הדבר הזה של חרדה. עד כמה הוא עוצר לנו את החיים, עד כמה הוא לא מאפשר לנו להמשיך לחיות. כי בעצם אנחנו כל הזמן חיים את העתיד ואת העבר, אנחנו לא חיים את ההווה. ומותם ציוו לנו את החיים. אני חושבת שזה הדבר הכי גדול שאנחנו יכולים לעשות עכשיו. לבחור לחיות באמת, וכאן ועכשיו, לחיות את הרגע. ואולי זה בדיוק העניין של יום העצמאות. בואו נחיה את הרגע, וכאן ועכשיו, ונשמח.
Master Sergeant Rong Vili was only 24 years old. A member of Israel's elite police unit, he was at home on the morning of October 7th, recovering from a serious shoulder injury. He could have stayed there. No one would have questioned it. But as his father recalled, Ron had simply said, "I'm not going to leave my friends to fight alone." So he put on his uniform and went into battle. That morning, as Hamas terrorists stormed southern Israel, Ron fought to defend communities like Kibbutz Alumim. He helped save lives. He stood between civilians and terror. And in that fight, he was killed. His body taken into Gaza and held for more than 800 days as the nation waited and hoped. For 842 days, his family lived in uncertainty, waiting for answers, for clarity, for the chance to bring their son home. And then, after months of negotiations and intensive recovery efforts, Israeli forces finally brought Ron back. The last of the 251 hostages had returned. It was a moment filled with heartbreak and with resolve, a reminder that Israel does not leave any of its soldiers behind.
When his remains were returned, it marked more than a homecoming. It marked the closing of a chapter that had held an entire nation in suspense, and the beginning of a long, difficult path toward healing. Ron's mother expressed what words can barely hold: "An eye weeps bitterly, and the heart rejoices." And his brother Omri said, "Today I can say that our lives can go on." Thousands lined the roads as he was brought to rest, not because they all knew him personally, but because in a way they did. For more than 2 years, Israel lived with an open wound, knowing that someone was still not home. Ron carried that weight. His absence was not only personal, it was national.
The funeral procession for the last Israeli hostage, Master Sergeant Ran Gvili, brings much-needed closure to a wounded nation. Thousands of Israelis and saluting police officers lined the roads as Gvili's body made its way to his hometown of Meitar in southern Israel, where his funeral took place on Wednesday. But most of all, it marked a personal closure for Gvili's.
Ron Gvili became the embodiment of courage, sacrifice, and the promise that no one would be left behind. As his family said, he was the first to go out and the last to return. His return does not erase the pain, but it does something profoundly important. It allows a family to mourn, a nation to close a chapter, and a people to begin, however slowly, to breathe again. And perhaps, as his brother reminded us, it allows Israelis at last to begin to move forward. Yeheh zichron baruch.
חידה מהקצה הצהוב. למעלה משעתיים אתה לצדי, ריק ודומם וזועק. עברת איתנו שבתות וחגים, היית איתנו בסוכה ובשולחן הסדר. הנכדים יודעים שעליך לא יושבים. כמו כלי קדוש היית, נוכח במרחב החיים, ואין לנו רשות להשתמש בך, אלא לראותך בלבד. ועכשיו הגיע הרגע, אתה מוצא מהחדר, בדמע ועם עתידך נסתם הגולל על הפרק הנורא בתולדות ישראל. תודה לך כיסא יקר, שלא נתת לנו להסיט מבט ולשקוע בשכחה ובתלמות. תפילה לפרק חדש בתולדות ישראל, שנרקים זה לזה, שנרואים זה את זה, כמים הפנים לפנים, לב האדם לאדם.
Yellow Again, written by Hannah Yerushalmi. Empty chairs will be saved for friends arriving late, and tape will be tape again. and hostage necklaces will be put away, forgotten in drawers, and Saturday night will be date night once again. Signs for the missing will be for dogs and cats, and city squares will be filled with grandparents pushing strollers and lovers dreaming of futures walking hand in hand. Tears will be for mourning or joy, but not again for anguish. And monsters will go back to hiding in closets or under the bed. And when dusk settles over the land, parents will know exactly where their children are. And yellow will be yellow again, the color of fragrant etrogs and speckled autumn leaves, and crown-tipped spring daffodils, and rubber ducks and sprinkles on a cake. And, oh yes, the color of the hopeful rising sun.
While we mourn Maoz Morel, Tzeela Gez, Ran Gvili, and all the soldiers of the IDF and victims of terror we have lost since the establishment of Medinat Israel, we remain with deep respect for who they were and for what they gave, so that others can live in safety and dignity. They represent the quiet strength of this generation, from the soldiers who returned injured from war, and to those who returned to serve, again and again, despite the lives waiting for them at home. To the bereaved families who continue forward day by day, to the spouses who carry the weight alone, and to the many who step in wherever they are needed.
באנו לך מתחת השמיים, שניים כמו זוג עיניים. יש לנו זמן מתחת השמיים, בינתיים אנו עוד כאן, שנינו אחד, שנינו אחד, שני אוהב ואוהב ואוהב. יש לנו זמן מתחת השמיים, בינתיים אנו עוד
There's a reason why Yom Hazikaron and Yom Haatzmaut are placed side by side. One cannot exist without the other. We will not be able to celebrate a country without those who defend it. And those who defend it do so because of what that country represents. In Israel, as Yom Hazikaron comes to a close, something difficult unfolds. The siren fades, the ceremonies end, and slowly the flags begin to rise. The music changes, the mood shifts. Not because the grief is gone, but because grief and gratitude exist side by side. בזכותם ישראל חוגגת עצמאות. It is because of them, the Chayalim and Chayalot, who gave their lives, that we are able to mark this day. And so, tonight we carry these memories with us. We do not move on from this night. We move forward with it, with purpose, with responsibility, and with understanding of what has been given. Tonight, each of us carries a name, a face, a story.
Throughout Jewish history, the shofar has been a symbol of redemption and renewal. This Yom Haatzmaut, we will continue our Bnei Akiva tradition and blow the shofar in anticipation of Geulat Yisrael, the redemption of Israel. We ask that our shofar blowers please join us on the stage. Please rise as we raise the flag and hear the shofar to mark the transition from the sadness of Yom Hazikaron to the celebration of Yom Haatzmaut. And please remain standing as we recite the Tefilat for the IDF protecting Am Yisrael.
Mishaberach Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Hu Yivarech Chayalei Tzva Haganah Yisrael, V'anshei Chochot HaBitochon, Hamdim al Mishparatenu, V'Ariel Eloheinu, Migvul Levanon, V'ad Midbar Mitzrayim, U'min Hayam HaGadol, Ad Levo HaRava, U'v'chol Makom Shehem, V'yavasha Ba'avir U'vayam, Yiten Adonai et Oivenu, Hakamim Aleinu Nigafim Lefnehem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yishmor V'yatzil Chayalenu, Mikol Tzara V'Tzukah, U'mikol Nega U'machala, V'yishlach Barcha V'atzlacha, B'chol Ma'aseh Yedehem, V'yadver Sonenu Tachtehem, V'yatrem V'cheter Yeshua, U'vateret Nitzachon, V'yikuyam Behem HaKatuv, Ki Adonai Elohechem, Ha'olachim Achem, Li'lachem Lachem, Imo V'yachem, L'oshiatchem, V'nomar Amen. Please be seated.
The Tekes Ma'avar in Israel is known for its torch lighting ceremony, Tekes Hadlaka Hamisuah, held each year on Har Herzl in Jerusalem. It marks the transition from Yom Hazikaron to Yom Haatzmaut and honors individuals whose actions have shaped and strengthened Israeli society. In that same spirit, we bring this tradition to our community here in Los Angeles. Tonight, we recognize members of our own communities and the value they represent. As we make this transition, we do not leave remembrance behind. We carry it with us. The story of Israel today is shaped by three enduring pillars: courage, community activism, and arevu, communal responsibility. Courage shown by those who defend Israel with strength and sacrifice. Activism expressed by those who stand with Israel through support, raising their voices, and collective action. And arevu, sustained by those who are building Israel's future and ensuring its continuity through education and shared responsibility. These three torch lightings reflect those pillars and the individuals who bring them to life.
I am Nagel. I'm here in Israel, serving in the army. I just started. I'm in Untitled Chapter. I'm proud to be serving Israel.
Hi, my name is Peppermint. I went to Chagigit High School. I'm currently doing Shirut Limi in a school for kids with special needs. And growing up in LA in the strong Zionist Jewish community that we have there, I realized that this was the place that I wanted to live in. I wanted to start my family. I wanted to start my life here. So before that, I think that contributing to the country is what the most important step is.
Hi, I'm Rimon from Los Angeles, former Maskira of Bnei Akiva LA. I made Aliyah 4 years ago to Modin, and now I'm serving as an officer in the IDF Combat Intelligence Unit.
Hi, my name is Dahan. I graduated from YULA Girls High School, and the reason I wanted to join the Army is because I wanted to give back to my country and do something really meaningful, especially after my brothers did too.
Hi everyone, this is Goldberg. I am currently serving in the Kabir Brigade in Gaza as part of my time in Hesder through Yeshivat Har Tzion. Definitely a large part of my decision to draft was inspired by my time in Bnei Akiva LA and in Moshe Alavi, especially a few of the amazing madrichim that I had over the years. But ultimately, my decision to draft was to come to protect the Jewish people and the Torah we live by, both in Israel and across the world. And to play an active role in the amazing Jewish history taking place right here, right now in Israel.
We are in awe of how many students from our community, especially YULA and Shalhavet, who have chosen to dedicate their time to Tzahal. We now ask that anyone here tonight who has served in Tzahal, or family members of those who served or are currently serving, to please rise, so that we can also recognize your family's service to Am Yisrael.
Moti Naor was born in 1946 in Israel to Holocaust survivor parents. He served in Israeli Air Force from 1965 to 1973 as an electronics technician, including during the Six-Day War, and was later sent to the United States to train on advanced navigation systems for the F-4 jet. Coming from a family deeply rooted in military service, he is proud to have had 2 granddaughters serve in Tzahal and is proud to represent all veterans of Tzahal tonight. Judy Goldberg is the proud parent of lone soldier Noam Goldberg, whom we just saw in the previous video. Tonight, she lights in honor of all families of lone soldiers in Tzahal and also as devoted community leaders. Judy and her husband Aryeh are preparing to join Noam as they make Aliyah this summer together with their children Elon and Eli, a powerful testament to their commitment to Israel and the Jewish people. Please welcome Moti Naor and Judy Goldberg to the stage to light the first torches representing courage.
Our second category is community activism. Not everyone serves on the front lines, but many have stepped forward, taking responsibility through attending rallies, traveling on missions, speaking out on college campuses, and teaching this very advocacy to our youth. Our LA community has certainly shown up throughout the years. We flew to make our voices heard in DC. Even on very short notice, our shows organized countless missions to Israel, bringing much needed gear, visiting injured soldiers and bereaved families, as well as volunteering wherever needed. We wrote to our members in Congress and spoke out in university classes. And we didn't back down when things seemed tough, we just got louder.
We are honored to introduce Rosalie Terra-Gonzalez, a longtime activist and true trailblazer. A pioneer, organizer, builder, and proud Zionist, she has served on numerous boards, interviewed presidents and prime ministers, advised governors, and helped write legislation mandating the teaching of the Holocaust in all public schools in California. A proud Jewish mother and bubby, she is a matriarch and role model to her 4 daughters, 9 grandchildren, and 13 great-grandchildren. From her beginnings as the first graduate of Beis Yaakov in Baltimore, she has grown to become one of the leading figures in our Los Angeles community and for American Jewry as a whole.
Yitzi Frankel, a 2025 graduate of UCLA Law, was a leading plaintiff in Frankel v. Regents of the University of California, a landmark lawsuit addressing UCLA's treatment of Jewish students during the campus encampments. The case resulted in a $6.13 million settlement and established important protections ensuring equal access for Jewish students and faculty. A longtime member of the Los Angeles community, where he now lives with his wife and 4 children, Yitzi serves on the board of Beth Jacob Congregation, where he is a community team member from Agenam. Please welcome Rosalie Zales and Yitzi Frankel to light the torches representing activism in our community.
Our third torch symbolizes arevut, a deep sense of shared responsibility. It is the understanding that we are connected to one another, that what happens in Israel is not distant but personal, and that each of us has a role to play even from our home in Los Angeles, supporting chayalim and miluim families, raising funds, sending letters, and making sure that both the young and the old in our community understand the importance of Medinat Yisrael. We see this in our schools, in our homes, and especially in places like Moshe Alavi, where that connection is lived, taught, and strengthened every day. Over the past few years, our community has mobilized its extraordinary ways to support Israel, through action, creativity, and deep personal connection. At Moshe Alavi and across many of our sponsored schools and shuls, participants tied tzitzit, made mezuzot, wrote letters to chayalim and displaced families, and hosted Israeli children who had been uprooted by the war, giving them a space to heal and simply be kids once again.
We organized meaningful community and communal initiatives, including a Yom Yerushalayim event that sent Boots for Israel, along with personalized photos and messages of support to soldiers on the front lines. Families and teens baked, delivered supplies, and hosted Miluim families for Shabbatot and barbecues, and raised significant funds for organizations supporting soldiers, trauma victims, and displaced communities. At the same time, we prioritized education, awareness, and connection, hosting Israeli speakers, survivors, and leaders, participating in national projects like the Simchat Torah Project, creating memorials, and engaging in Tefilat, community-wise fundraising efforts, and daily acts of chesed and support. Our community has stood firmly with Israel, strengthening the unbreakable bond between us and Am Yisrael. This is how a people stays connected, not only in words, but in action.
Jamie Frankel truly lives and breathes Israel and Bnei Akiva in everything he does. A Los Angeles native, Jamie has been involved with Bnei Akiva for over 55 years. rising through the ranks as a chanich, madrich, rosh snif, rosh avodah, rosh mosheva, and maskir galil, and today serves as a dedicated board member. He participated in one of the first Machach Ba'aretz trips and spent time on Hachshara at Kibbutz Sa'ad. In 1981, he met his wife Rina at Mosheva Big Bear. Together, they have built a beautiful family with 3 children and 4 grandchildren. For the past 20 years, Jamie has volunteered at YULA, where he teaches a beloved Israel Scholars class. Most recently, he founded the Chidon Zion of Los Angeles, an Israel knowledge competition for children, which will take place next week in LA. Please welcome Jamie Frankel and Avigal Engel and Rosa Tauzik, campers from Mosheva Alvi, to light the torches representing our Revut in our community.
These torches reflect who we are, a people that remembers, that takes responsibility, and that continues forward together. Thank you to you all, to all of our incredible community members for everything you do for Am Yisrael and Eretz Yisrael. We are truly inspired by your selflessness.
Good evening. We have just stood together in that thin, sacred space between Yom Hazikaron and Yom Haatzmaut. We have felt the ache of our collective loss, and now we begin to feel the spark of our celebration. 78 years of the miracle that is the State of Israel. But as we look at these flags and hear the music begin, we must ask, how do we ensure the bridge of hope remains unshakable? How do we make sure the next generation feels the pulse of Israel, not as a distant headline, but as their own heartbeat? The answer's in this room. Mark started the evening expressing how Bnei Akiva plays a critical role in building our future. Throughout the evening, you've seen just some of the impact that Bnei Akiva and Mosheva has on our community. Tonight is our one annual event, our single community-wide fundraiser. This is the moment where we decide what the future of our leadership looks like. To ensure a strong cadre of leaders who will one day run our institutions, who will lead your shuls, your schools, we need Bnei Akiva. To teach those one-day leaders a true love for Israel and an unwavering commitment to Torah, Bnei Akiva is the essential foundation. Bnei Akiva is a leadership incubator. Whether it's Shabbat afternoon sniff or a summer at Mosheva, we are teaching our children that being Zionist isn't just about history, it's about our responsibility. In the year ahead, we're expanding. We're bringing an additional shlichut couple to our community to deepen our impact. At the same time, we're providing more scholarship for summer camp than ever before. We do this because we know that overnight Jewish summer camp is the secret recipe for Jewish continuity. We refuse to let a single child be turned away from the life-changing experience of Mosheva Alavi due to financial constraints. But we cannot do this alone. Tonight we need you to please step up and partner with us in this journey. Thank you to all the shuls and schools who have partnered with us tonight. And thank you to all of our incredible donors who have already stepped up in support. You truly are Shomrei Bnei Akiva. On the screen and on your seats, you will find cards and QR codes. This is our moment. I ask you to be as generous as you possibly can. Your gift is an investment in our future, in the future of our children, the leaders of tomorrow. Stand tall, lead with Torah, and dance for Israel. Please take your phone, capture this QR code, and give. Every dollar counts. Thank you, and Chag Haatzmaut Sameach. Now please rise for the singing of Yad Achim, the hymnon of Bnei Akiva. Immediately following Yad Achim, we're doing something new, so please listen carefully. We'll immediately transition into our Chagigah dancing. Please help us quickly clear the chairs to make room for us to bring in the mechitzas and to begin dancing. We will celebrate and dance for about 15 or 20 minutes, at which point we'll be honored to have Rabbi David Block lead us in a meaningful Tefilat Chagigah Maariv. There's plenty of food and drink outside, and we encourage everyone to stay. Let us keep our heads held high as we sing, dance, and celebrate Am Yisrael and Eretz Yisrael. Thank you.